Really looking forward to this coming week. Got our first conference game against FIU. It's going to be a great challenge for us. Good football team. They took a tough loss last week to Tulane, so I'm sure they'll be fired up just like us. But kids, we actually got a chance to practice yesterday a little bit. Kids were looking good, and everybody was working hard and had a great look in their eye. So really looking forward to this opener against FIU.
What's been the response so far after you've had a practice, after a loss like that, just the response from your team?
They've been great. Kids have been good. I think, they respond how our coaches respond. And, we've been really positive. We talk the next day after the game, and, I said, hey, it's okay to be down and depressed today, but we'll watch the film and get the corrections made, and then we move on. The sun comes up, and, I think we've had a great positive demeanor. Our guys are very positive. They've worked extremely hard yesterday. And I said it after, in my press conference after the game, I'd expect nothing less, and that's what they've done. So guys are in good spirits and excited to go.
What stood out to you on the film?
Say it again.
What stood out to you on the field?
A lot of really good things. Offensively, there was, close to 500 yards of offense, a lot of plays, but really left a lot of plays out there too. Had a critical fourth down that, we went forward on 4th and 2 that I felt like the play was there, and we didn't happen for us. The holding penalty for the touchdown that got called back when we threw it to Moses, I felt like was probably a bad call. But you're going to get those calls, so you got to, it's got to be the flow of the game. Felt like we left a lot out there on offense. So there was a lot of really good things, but there's a lot of things that we left out there on offense as well. And then good teams, you got to find a way to win in the fourth quarter. We talk about it all the time. You want to get to the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and then find a way to win. Felt like we had positioned ourselves well going in the fourth quarter, but then we stalled out. So that's what we got to do is correct that. Defensively, really got after them in the run game. They got away from it just because they knew they weren't going to be able to run the football. And then we got to be able to clean up the obvious was the big explosive plays in the passing game against us, over 400 yards, I think, in passing. So it was really defensively, it's about 5 plays, to be honest with you, but they were big explosive plays, and we got to clean those things up.
We meant to ask after the game, but that halfback pass, just how much emphasis was put on that, and just looked like everybody bit down and didn't see it. Did you say it's breakdown and miscommunication on that play? Or?
That's why you call trick plays. They're big plays. You're rolling the dice, and when you do, you come up big when they work. And we were in good position defensively, but we triggered to the run, and we needed to, in our secondary, be able to hold back. We were in a 3-deep coverage, and we needed to hold back with our DBs, and they triggered to the run, and so it left the play open.
Tyson, with a guy like Josh Simon, his first game as a true freshman, did he kind of impress you during camp, and then did you expect that kind of performance in his first game?
Yeah, I did. He did exactly what I thought he would do. Tried to get the ball to him early to see how he would do, and got the early touchdown to him. And then he came up big in the second half with a seam route down the field. The ball had gotten tipped. He made the play. So a lot of great things out of him, but he's got to continue to grow and build as well. He's got a lot of potential there, and we got to maximize that potential.
Seeing that Tulane put up 350 rush yards against FIU last week, is that an area you're kind of looking to exploit, especially after you guys had such a good game on the ground this past week?
Yeah, we always want to be balanced. We were pretty balanced in this game. We were close to 50-50. So we want to be balanced, but definitely want to be able to move the ball. It's a lot easier when you can run the ball. That's the for sure way, So, and Tulane's a good football team. They got really good O-linemen, good running backs, and so they were able to control the line of scrimmage. We got to go do the same thing. We got to stay in front of the chains. Cannot stay behind the chains. As long as we can get 4 or 5 yards, every attempt in rushing, we'll put ourselves in good position.
Were you able to distribute the ball to the guys on offense that you wanted to? There's some balance there, but lucky a few catches. Quinn didn't have any, so is Is that what you wanted, what you saw Thursday?
Yeah, I really thought there was a lot of balance offensively. A lot of guys touched the ball. Sloan had several catches. Lucky had several catches. A lot of the running backs had touches. Tight ends had touches. Everybody touched the ball. Only guy that, unfortunately didn't touch the ball was Quinn Jernigan. Would have liked for him to have a couple touches. But, how, again, in this offense, it gets spread around. A lot of times we don't have one particular guy that we're saying, hey, we're trying to get the ball to this guy. Every now and then we do that, but that's why you see so many people touch the ball. Quinn's game will come, maybe it'd be this week in FIU. You see his numbers go up, just how the game played out. But I was happy with how many different people did touch the ball.
You anticipate asking Steven to run more going ahead? I mean, I know with this offense, the idea is that it's just spread around and quarterback runs aren't usually expected, but he's shown that he can do that. Is that something you are going to lean on with him?
Yeah, we're going to do any way we can find a way to make yardage. We're going to do that. Steven's a big kid. He's a powerful kid, so every now and then we'll run him. I'm not interested in becoming a quarterback run team, obviously, but we're going to take advantage of the opportunities when they're there to run the quarterback. In the passing game, he still needs to develop, but as he continues to play, we'll give him the keys to the car more and more, But he still has to develop. And then, I mentioned before Ty Story, unfortunately he didn't get in the game. I'd like to see him have a role and be able to help us as well. And, hopefully in this game he can do that.
Tyson, do you like having a conference game this early in the season, or is it something that you almost would prefer to play a couple games?
I don't mind. No, I don't mind. I like to have that first game under our belt that's a non-conference game, and then after that it's whatever it is. So it'll be a great test for us. FIU is a very talented football team. Looking at them and evaluating them, they have some really good players. But our guys, we got good players too, and we just show up to the park and play good. We'll come out with a W.
He's still running back by committee, or has Gage kind of established himself as that workhorse back on Thursday?
Running back by committee, it's still way too early in the season, but the two primary backs now that we've played a game would be Gage and McClendon. We'll mix in Josh Samuel in there some, along with some of the other running backs as well. Yeah.
It's very rare that you see a team dominate on both sides in the trenches and end up losing a game. It felt like Western pretty much offensive line, defensive line outplayed UCA. What did you see in the film from the guys up front?
They did. They dominated the line of scrimmage. Really, from an offense standpoint, run game, pass protection, we had all the pass protection we needed all day. Thought in the run game, the D-line got after him. I mean, there was a lot of TFLs out there. And so, but that's not the whole game. The name of the game is stopping the explosive plays, and then you offensively creating explosive plays. And when you do, you got to score. You got to score touchdowns. That was the disappointing part for me. It was what I'm used to here at WKU from an offensive standpoint, moving the ball, doing a lot of good things, spreading the ball around to different people. But we got to find the end zone. And so that will be the next step for us and for FIU. And it'll be a great test because they're a good defensive football team as well. So we got to be able to find the end zone if we're going to go get that first conference win.
Did you like what you saw in Ja'Cour Pearson? I believe that was his first start in his career. It seemed like he was kind of slicing the defense up kind of around the line of scrimmage. You got him the ball in space. What do you think of this?
I thought JP did a great job. He did exactly what I thought he would do. Had multiple touches, but really all our skilled players I thought did a really good job. Caught the ball well, caught a lot of contested balls. So he did exactly what I thought he would do. It was a good first outing for him.
With someone like Gage Walker, what traits did you see in him that made you think that he might be a good fit to move from defense to the offensive side of the ball?
Well, he had played some running back in high school. later in the spring, I wanted to take a look at him, and we handed the ball to him 2 or 3 times, and I could see he could cut well, and he had some explosion and big playability and those kind of things, and felt like where we were defensively, where he was on the depth chart defensively, we weren't going to have our 11 best guys on the field, and that's what we always want to do, is have our 11 best. And so when we made that move, we felt like he could get in there and have a role as a running back, and he took advantage of the opportunity.
He had some rotation at left tackle for that game too. Felt like a couple tries, either Gunner or Cole would go out there. What's the approach with that position and rotating this?
We feel like we got 2 good players at that position, and Cole's coming back from a knee injury from last year, so we just didn't want to put too much on him. He's healthy. I mean, Cole's healthy, but I do feel like you got a good, young, talented player in Gunner, and so again, it's good to give our guys a rest here and there, and so that's why we did what we did in that position.
Where does Parker Howell stand in that rotation?
Well, Parker played a little bit of the tight end position for us in the run game and those kind of things, and then got in there a little bit offensively. He'll continue to do that, so he'll have a role for us. What I like about Parker is he really can do everything: tight end, run game, tackle, guard. So he's really a utility player for us.
Is that a guy that you've expected all fall camp to be able to do that? And what does that look like for him? Just his preparation as a guy that was at one position for so long, and now he's playing that 6th line, that tight end spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think he could handle it. He's a smart guy, He really knows what's going on in every position, so it gave us the advantage to move him around and do those things with him. So he's a good asset for us for how we want to use him.
Was there a jump that you saw in D'Angelo Malone from spring ball to fall camp that really had that kind of performance in the opening night?
No, I saw it from day one, to be honest with you, and so it's pretty obvious to see he's a good football player. He went out there and did what he was supposed to do. He was all over the field, sideline to sideline, played with a lot of passion, enthusiasm, and that was great to see. We're going to need it, throughout the season. He'll need to have another big performance this week.
I know your game plans are always fluid and open, and you spend months preparing for the first couple of games. How much does that change or alter depending on certain outcomes of the team? Like when you prep for FIU and they lose 42-14, whatever, just when you go back and you change some things up based off of what you see from that first game, how much did things change? Have things changed for this week?
I think, for us, not a ton's changed. Their base core defense has stayed the same. Every game takes on its own dynamic, so I'm sure they'll have a couple different looks for us that they didn't show in the first game. We'll have a couple different looks for them that we didn't show in the first game. So it's kind of a chess match, to be honest with you. But you watch the Tulane game, you see how they played. Obviously, you're gonna practice some of the things they did, and then also prepare yourself for things that they might do. And so that's why our package is a little bit broader and bigger, because when we go out there on the first 2 series, depending on how they play, we got to make the adjustments and do the things we need to do to be successful.
Sort of an off-the-field question. I know that Damon Lowe on Thursday had his son on Thursday. What was that day like for him, allowing him to go and be there for the birth of that, and then he still played? Yeah, I thought he handled it really well. I mean, we knew it was coming, and he and I had talked about it a lot, and it came, and he did a great job of, he obviously wanted to be there with mom and the baby and all that, and was able to get back down, and thought he did a really good job, played well, and he's a new dad this week, so he's got a lot more responsibility, but he's handling that really well, and just love how his approach to everything. He handles things like a pro, and I expect him to continue to grow in that position and really help us. All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.